So let's have a little conversation about America. Now, we know America is a bully, always has been, always will be. We don't really know whose home this is because it could be home to so many of us. I think the distraction is arguing about who was here first, when clearly a lot of the indigenous people who say they were here first have taken their casinos and their reservations and have pretty much calmed down. Black people, a lot of us have been sold the narrative that we're not from here. We came over on slave ships, so we haven't really felt connected to the land. And so while the people who are potentially indigenous to the land are arguing over who the land is for, business as usual is continuing. And this is a old play out of the playbook of colonialism. Come in, divide and conquer. They've did it with the trans community and the gay community. They've did it with the gay community and the straight community. They've did it with black people and white people. It's even a battle of the sexes. They did it between male and female when we literally got similar chromosomes. Shit is crazy. It's divide and conquer, divide and conquer. Instead of us coming together and saying, hey, we love this land. We love the resources. We love the people. We love connecting with nature and being a part of this landmass. We love what this land means to us. Instead of us saying, you know what, it doesn't matter who was here first. We love this land and we want to protect this land. Who, what, wins, where's, and why's, none of that matters. We're here now. And because we can't get past that, it's going to consistently be a problem. I saw this in a video. Someone said they're attacking the trans community, making us terrorists. And y'all legit, like, I agree with the comment, y'all worried about the wrong 1%. You're legit worried about the wrong 1%. But it goes to show you people can't even see what's happening. Like, the trans community is called the terrorist act because we honor all of ourselves. Like, we come from masculine and feminine. We come from male and female. And so because we won't perform our identities based on our genitals, because we're actually utilizing our minds, our souls, and our spirits. Like, we're not performing who we are based on our genitals. No sovereign and autonomous sentient person should solely be performing their identity, their sex, and their gender based on their genitals. Now, how is that terrorism? Make that make sense. We have mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers. We have beings who've come before us who did not subscribe to these colonial place-holding identities. They didn't subscribe to male and female. They were just humans being. They were just soul having a spiritual experience. But yet and still, it's an act of terrorism to embrace and honor your wholeness. And let me tell you how this is going to work out. They're saying that they're targeting trans people, but the ones who are going to be the most at risk is the ones that don't look enough like what they think a woman should look like who was born male. And this going to get some females tripped up who was born with vaginas. It's going to get some of y'all tripped up. And the ones who don't look enough like men who was born with vaginas. And this is going to get some naturally feminine men tripped up. Okay? So it's not just going to affect trans people. It's going to affect people who just never lived up to the expectations, and people who are naturally ambiguous, people who are naturally androgynous. Because the goal is, because America is a bully, this nation can't work if it can't even bully you into performing based on your gender, based on your sex? We got to first get a foundation to bully them properly, to bulldoze them into their prospective spaces. Make sure they're grazing where we need them to graze. So first, we have to get you in your right areas in order for this bullying, because this is what America does. It bullies. It's bullied around the country. It bullies its own. And so first we got to get you to perform based on your genitals. We got to be able to set that in stone. And the gag is, you hear the rhetoric coming from trans people try to gatekeep what trans looks like and saying who can be in the movement and who can't be in the movement. That's what got us here. Trying to say who's trans and who's not trans. Because trans is a spiritual experience. It's not a physical experience. It starts spiritual, and then it can manifest physically, but it doesn't always manifest physically. And so you haven't been able to observe the soul, you haven't had the discernment to try the spirit by the spirit, because you've been so busy focusing on what the government focuses on, and that is appearance. That's optics. This nation is inherently afraid of the power of black and brown bodies. That's why they made our ancestors cover up. And to this day, that fear is rooted and going strong and showing just how much our being affects things, impacts things. What we have the power to do to a space and to do to an environment when we are walking in our sovereignty and our autonomy, when we are conscious and present and aware. How we can alchemize a space, how we can transmute energy. I was telling somebody a story about when I was like 16 years old and I was living in Milwaukee, and I wanted to do a poem for a Black History Day program. And I had already started my transition, had hair braids down to my butt. I was wearing boy clothes, but they looked feminine on me. You know, I had the most feminine boy pants and a colorful shirt. The way that I wore it, I was extremely young, no facial hair, smooth, glowing skin, and braids down to my butt. It didn't take much. But baby, when I got on the stage, because the teacher had divided the classroom by boys and girls. My chemistry teacher had divided the class by boys and girls like a week before. And when she said boys on one side, or he said, I can't remember what gender the teacher was. And I think I can't remember the teacher because that was a traumatic experience. That was a grief-stricken experience. But anyway, we had to stand on opposite sides of the class based on our genitals. And so it got around the school because nobody knew that I was trans. Nobody knew that I wasn't born female. I was blending in with a flat chest. Okay, blending in with the girls. 16 years old, flat chested, nobody knew. But they knew after that. And when I walked on the stage to say my poem for Black History Month, the whole damn auditorium was laughing and cackling, and they just thought it was so funny. But by the time I finished saying my poem, I had a standing ovation. That is the fear. That's the fear. That's what the government is afraid of. They are afraid that the image that they're trying to paint of us, the cover is going to be blown. Because the reason why those children were laughing at me when I walked on that stage is because of what society told them, what the church told them, what the government told them. That's why they were laughing. But when they actually heard me speak, when they actually saw that I cared about the same things that other humans care about, I care about violence, I care about people being wronged, I care about people suffering. And despite how I maneuver through life, how I show up and celebrate all that is in me, I still care about family. I still care about community. I still care about people eating, people having the things that they need to survive. I still care about humanity and human decency. I still care about children being safe and protected. I still value the same things that decent human beings value. I'm just not as boxed in my mind about how I show up and how I express myself. I pull from everything that's in me. I don't compartmentalize my existence by saying I was born with a penis, I need to study this only. It's just like how y'all are with the Bible. You're Christian, but you only read the Bible. As if that's the only book that can teach you how to have a relationship with the Most High or your Creator or the God of your understanding. A lot of you are so fixed on just trusting one thing that you're not understanding that we are literally all mirrors and reflections. We're all a part of God's body. Literally. It's crazy to focus on one thing and not see all of these other beautiful things that speak to how multifaceted and how dynamic and nuanced existing is. And let me tell you this, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to close. Only a zombie, a Walking Dead person, is offended by someone living. Because that's what I'm over here doing, living. But some of y'all, it's giving Walking Dead tease. It's giving zombie. Because only a zombie, only a person that's the Walking Dead could be that pressed about me over here living. That's all I got. Lelem Leler Nation, purple ones, rise.